In 2019, the wine area was at that point concerned. While Brexit was emerging with its consistent augmentations, Trump foreseen the expansion in levies on European items. Amidst the worldwide political strife, the wineries were setting up their first measures against environmental change, their other incredible front. The world was changing, wine was attempting to adjust to it. Also, the pandemic showed up, and with it, restricted spring. The conclusion of cafes, lodgings, and bistros, the power outage of the April fairs in Andalusia, and the wide range of various mainstream merriments have left a huge injury in the records of the wineries, which has mostly mended lately of opening. Since contaminations are on the ascent once more, how does wine see its future? In Spain, the greater part of wine utilization is delivered through the alleged HORECA channel, abbreviation for hotels, restaurants, and cafeterias. With the overall conclusion of this channel among March and May, 94% of makers have been truly hurt, as indicated by figures from the Spanish Wine Federation, FEV. For some wineries, truth be told, it is the main channel, says José Luis Benitez, General Overseer of FEV. Creation has fallen by 38%, particularly in miniature endeavors, organizations with under 10 specialists, where it has fallen by 54%. Part of the wineries have spared their furniture on account of fairs. In different nations, more wine is purchased in the store than in the bar. Among January and May, the most recent information accessible, Spain has sent out €990 million in wine, 9.8% not exactly in a similar period in 2019. It has not redressed, yet it has permitted the breakdown not to be all out, says the overall overseer of the Spanish Wine Federation. Be that as it may, not all things are negative. The pandemic leaves two exercises for winemakers. The first is that we should offer significance to online deals, which since March have become 161%. It is viewed as a vital pattern in the area that may impact future deals. Right now they represent just about 1% of all out deals. The second is a genuine belief of Benitez, representative for the wine affiliation. Numerous Spanish customers will have gotten used to accomplishing something that was not used to do previously, purchasing wine in food stores. It is something more normal than in different nations, he concedes. Wine, despite climatic changes, the pandemic will pass. The huge issue in the area keeps on being the basic issues we are confronting, says the overall head of the Spanish Wine Federation. To characterize these issues, he falls back on an expression that has been appropriated by the Minister of Agriculture, Luis Planas: wine must adjust to environmental change and business environmental change. 1.86% of the outside of Spain is secured by grapevines. There are 941,000 hectares, of which in excess of a quarter is particularly presented to the desertification that is progressing in the Iberian Peninsula. Of that expansion, 7 million tons of grapes were gathered in 2019. 98% became wine. The area has found a way to confront dry springs, extraordinary summers, and scant yet hefty downpours. These progressions influence the nature of the grapes. The time has come to create strong approaches, says Benitez. Then again, business environmental change. Most importantly, Brexit. The United Kingdom is the main market for Spanish packaged wine, particularly Rioja and Sherry. Is the British going to quit drinking Rioja, a notable and solidified item, in light of the fact that there is Brexit? I would state no, says Benitez. On the off chance that Brexit at long last happens without an economic alliance, something that ought to appear before the finish of 2020, the wine area expects an expansion of 10 pennies for each litre sold. They think of it as a stone out and about, yet adequate, since it would influence everybody similarly. More terrible is the thing that anticipates on the opposite side of the Atlantic, Trump's duty on European items. It was applied after the WTO gave the US purpose behind the memorable appropriations to the British Airbus, to the disservice of the American Boeing, and that empowered the North Americans to gather €7.5 billion in duties from Europe. This has completely affected Spanish wine, which the United States currently burdens with 25%, this rate is accepted by the wineries. At times it is imparted to merchants, however by and large, no, regrets the Chief General of the FEV. Then, in Spain instances of COVID are on the ascent once more, decisively as a result of the social experiences where wine utilization thrives. The area calls for quiet, accepts that everything can be defeated to the degree that we can live with the infection in a typical circumstance. Another thing would be another financial emergency, similar to the one that happened 10 years back. An emergency would influence utilization and wine is certifiably not a staple decent, concedes José Luis Benitez, despite the fact that he includes that now the area is more arranged. In the emergency we figured out how to trade, to broaden.